Welcome to the Hardcore Closer Podcast. I'm Ryan Stewman, founder of HardcoreCloser.com, and this podcast is all about helping you, the salesperson, close more sales. And look, whether you're selling cars, homes, financial services, consulting, whatever it is that you sell, this podcast is dedicated to help you generate higher quality leads, increase your closing ratios, and show you how to charge premium fees for the items you sell so you can get paid what you're worth. Welcome to episode 70 of the Hardcore Closer Podcast, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're a first timer, be sure to check out the previous episodes. Do me a favor, leave a review on iTunes. This is why. It's my goal, my mission, to reach 300 million salespeople and influence them to change their mind, because when you change your mind, you change your life. And one of the most influential ways to get these words over the airwaves in front of people is by leaving me a review so that I show up in the top 100, top 10, number one podcast in iTunes. Listen, I know it's a pain in the ass. I know that iTunes doesn't make it easy in order for you to fill out that review. And that's why they're so important, because iTunes knows that if you jump through all those hoops to fill out a review on iTunes, you must really love this shit and they should show it to more people. So show me love, folks. Show me love, Closer Nation. All right, just right here is a 5-star review that says Truth by the East Coast Hustler. It says started from episode number 1, and I'm writing this at episode number 27. Check it out. Relatable, precise, and it has an info nugget each episode to take action on. Also, it's hard not to be motivated after listening to all of these. That's what I'm talking about, East Coast Hustlers. Some of y'all got some cool names. Some of y'all got some shitty names. Some of y'all leave reviews, and it's like, dude, what? And then some of y'all leave reviews, and your name's like East Coast Hustler. You're like, hell yeah, it's probably a New Yorker. Right. It's probably Jay-Z. That's just probably Jay-Z just dropping in and leaving me a review. It's like, yeah, I just want to hook up my boy Ryan. Anyway, terrible fucking imitation there. But whatever. Hey, listen, before we jump into the episode, real quick, one more thing is make sure if you're in real estate, if you're in mortgages, and you actually close deals, you want to give closing gifts to your people so that they'll give you referrals. One of those closing gifts you can give that will actually make you money is going to yourfreealarm.com. You can go sign up. And I own the company. I'm the president and CEO. My partners and some of the employees in the company are ex-federal agents for National Security Association. So what we've done is we've created a security company that will allow you to gift our products to your clients at no cost to you, and then we'll even give you $100. Now, you're probably sitting there wondering, well, what's the catch, right? Because motherfuckers just ain't giving away things for no reason, right? There's got to be money made somewhere. And the truth is, we make our money on the upsell. We first of all present everything on your behalf, make you the person that referred the client to us look like a hero. And the next move that we make is we offer them cameras, we offer them surveillance, we offer them monitoring, tripwires, mimes, and occasional nuclear weapons and automatic arms. I'm just kidding. If you're in the ATF, I'm just kidding. I don't know where to get any of that stuff, and I don't want to go back. Sorry, I had a moment there. Got a little out of hand there, folks. Just jokes, people, just jokes. But anyway, so and then we obviously sell the monitoring as well. So there's money exchanged in the process, but we give the bulk of everything away to them for free. But listen, you don't have to inform them of all that. Let us work through our process. Just know that we're taking care of your people. We're giving them the best prices out there. We're giving them a ton of perks for free, and then we're also going to kick you $100 back for everybody you send us. Just go to yourfreealarm.com, sign your people up, and if you'll go to yourfreealarm.com and scroll to the bottom, you can sign up to be a referral partner. This way we make sure that we get the $100 to you every time that you send us a client. We pay out every single month. Now let's jump into the episode. I'm going to get weird quick. I mean, I'm pretty much sure that I get weird right from the beginning of every episode. I mean, think about it. No normal person's like, we're going to get in front of 300 million people, and beg for reviews and all this stuff. But I woke up back in February one day, and I decided that I'd had enough. And I called a friend of mine, and not really a friend. I use that term loosely sometimes too much. I think that's something that we all do. Is we use the term friend because of Facebook. In reality, we use it too loosely. But I called somebody that I know that was a mentor at one point in my life and who helped me when I was going through a time. And so I called this person up and I said, man, I'm at a point where I'm broken down. I'm waking up angry every morning. I'm yelling at my kids. I'm mad at my fiance. I'm yelling at my employees. But on the other hand, it's like I have everything I want. I have the money, the car, the girls, the kids. I have things that people dream of. I have what I dreamed of. For years, I dreamed of having what I have today. But here I am, waking up angry every morning. And when you're angry, you make some really fucking stupid decisions. And waking up angry every morning and making decisions from that mindset was really fucking me up. I'm just being honest with everybody here. That's one thing I think that a lot of you listen to this show for is that at one point there's just going to be brutal honesty, and I'm not afraid to fucking say what's going on. And I'm not sitting here trying to pretend that I'm Jesus and I've never done anything wrong. I just tell it like it is. And so this is what I'm going through. So I called this person and I'm like, man, I need help. And I explain that I have everything and that I'm unhappy. And this person tells me, he's like, come on out. I got the cure. And the cure wasn't cheap. And he didn't say what the cure is. That's a good thing about the good salesperson. Like if you know and you're confident that what you have is the solution, the other person won't even ask problems or ask questions. They'll just go right for it. And that's what I did. It's like this guy said he's got the cure. Everyone's looking for the cure. I'm headed out there. Turns out I got in his truck and Robert Smith's playing on the radio and shit totally fucked me up, man. I'm like, I don't even like the Cure. That's a Cure joke. For those of you that are young, that's a band from the 80s that sucked. Just for some reason that came into my mind. But so anyway, I go to this person and they pick me up from the airport. They take me out to this cabin and I have this like interdimensional out of body experience. That's like the best way that I could explain it to you. Like they literally, they poisoned me. They did all sorts of crazy stuff to me, man. And like things that I didn't even know it existed. And it changed my life. And since then, if you can take a look on my Facebook page, I've become a different person at whatever that was that they did. And I'm not here to put their business out on Front Street. But whatever it was that they did, it changed my mind. It rewired how I operate. And it made me a better person. But what I realized when I was going through this divine out-of-body experience was that there were some serious things that were viciously destroying my happiness, causing me to be angry. And it wasn't intentional, and I didn't even realize that those were the things that were triggering me, but I was enlightened and educated when I was having this experience as to what it was that I needed to change and the habits that I had created that were leading to misery that I needed to demolish if I ever wanted to see happiness again. And so I figure, I always talk about sales and stuff like that, but I want to talk some personal development shit with you today. And am I the best personally developed person? No, I'm quick to tell somebody to fuck off and block them. I'm not Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. I am not your Jesus. I don't want to be perfect, right? You saw what happened to Jesus. They fucking hung him. I'm trying to be like that. I'm just trying to be real with y'all. So when I give you this advice, it's not like I'm perfectly following this. I'm struggling just like every one of us. But this is just as much of a reminder to myself today as it is to you. And that's kind of the beauty of these podcasts is I get to get real, but I get to be vulnerable and real with myself too. Because the things that you say inside your head to yourself, that inner conversation is usually different than the outer conversation. Usually that voice inside your head's telling you the truth. And then you're using your voice that comes out of your mouth to tell somebody else lies. And so I just want to get on here and I don't want to tell lies. I want to say that, hey, I'm trying just as fucking hard as you to do this stuff. These are the things that I know every day that I'm trying to do. Do I fuck up? Probably more than you do. But I probably do a lot more than you do. Let's just be real. But at the same time, I'm trying every day, just like an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever. I'm trying every day too. So here's 5 habits that'll viciously destroy your happiness. Let's start with number 1. The most important one is comparing yourself to others. There was a time back in 2013 and 14 where I would see people doing better than me online, and I would have some sense of self-loathe. And I don't know what caused it other than me comparing myself to them, saying, how is this person's no way they're better than me? How do they have more money? There's no way they actually did that. How is this even possible for them? And then what would happen was, it's like subconsciously, I would get mad at myself for knowing that that person wasn't working as hard, wasn't putting out the content, and couldn't change lives in the manner I could. And it was driving me nuts. But what's fucked up about that is most of the time, the things that we compare ourselves to what we see and perceive of others is the lie that is coming out of their mouth. It's easy to rent Lamborghinis for a day for $1,000. That doesn't mean it's yours. It's easy to go to an open house that's been staged and pretend that you live there. It's easy to say that you've had 12-figure months or whatever these fuckers claim. And by the way, I mean, technically I'm a trillionaire because I got these Zimbabwe dollars that are 50 trillion. They're real. You can go look on like zimbabwedollar.com or some shit. You can buy them and they're real. So technically I'm a trillionaire. So like I can really, other than people in Zimbabwe, which I got 50 trillion, trying to catch Bill Gates over here. But I think it was like $20. That's how fucked up their currency is over there. That also explains why they're so good at math. All right, sidetrack here. But you see these people making these outrageous claims and you compare yourself to them when oftentimes it's the lie that they're telling, right? Remember I just said there's a truth conversation inside most people's head and a lie coming out of their mouth. And we start comparing our truth to their lies, and it's apples to oranges. And what happens is we start getting frustrated with ourselves over something that's not even true, and it robs us of our happiness. You see somebody who might be a better father, better wife, better business person, better salesperson, better marketer, but you don't know. You only, especially if you don't know these people personally, you don't know. The things that people reveal to us on social media are completely different than the things that are revealed to us if we were to follow people around with a reality show camera 24/7. Most people walk around with pain and suffering and lies and stories and things they're hiding from and instances of heroism and instances of victimization. And you can't compare your truth and your omniscience of your own life to the glimpse and possible lies of somebody else. It will rob you of your happiness. I told y'all we were going to get weird. I bet y'all didn't know I could get this deep. It's all good. Number 2, judging others. Man, I'm talking to myself on this one. I'm the worst about this, right? And I'll just be real with you. When I went to prison in 2000, it was the year 2000. In the year 2000. It's an SNL joke. I can't sing anymore. I've talked myself out of my voice over the years. And I always think of, what is that movie where the dude has he can only say so many words. I think it's Jim Carrey, but he can only say so many words and he can't talk anymore. I feel like that's happening to me. Anyway, so let's hope not though, because I got a lot of podcasts I still got to do. But in the year 2000, in November, I went to the state prison here in the state of Texas. And up until that point, I was an unassuming young man. I was very easily I was very impressionable and easily influenced. And really up until the point where I got arrested, which was my own damn fault, nobody had ever really fucked me over or anything like that. And I was completely unassuming. I was very friendly and just wanted people to accept me. And when I went to prison, I went in with that same attitude, and within 12 hours, I got the shit beat out of me by a dude about twice my size. And I realized quick that I didn't have any friends there, and I had to change myself to this judgmental attitude. Well, the thing was, like, all my life growing up, I watched my mom be like real judgy. And I always told myself I didn't want to be like that. But I knew like I had the gene in me because I fight the resistance and the urge as a young man to judge people and always just assume the best. Which, we think others are how we are. I assume the best in everybody, and these days things happen and I get screwed over or whatever. I don't ever see the shit coming because I would have never thought that of somebody or thought to do that to somebody. And so it gets blindsided. But same thing went in prisons. Like I'm not that way, so I would have never thought that I would have got my ass kicked for the things that I got my ass kicked for. You win some, you lose some, right? I'm not Floyd Mayweather. Especially then, I weighed like 130 pounds at 5'10". So I was Floyd Mayweather's size, but like 6 inches on him height. And definitely no experience like in that situation. And it got me to where I learned to judge others quickly. This is my fuck for real. Is he trying to fuck me over? Is he trying to shank me? Is he trying to steal from me? Is he trying to con me? And then after being betrayed a couple times by women, because that just happens to all of us. And it's not just women. It's like dudes betray women as well. This shit happens. We've all been fucked over by someone we've dated or been married to or whatever the case may be. And that caused me to judge others. And having some business partners that have done some things along the way and getting pitched a lot caused me to judge others. And it's something I struggle with every day. But here's the thing. What we're doing is we're judging others based on how we are. So if we're having negative associations to the things that others are doing to us, the hole you look through is the hole that's staring right back to you. And if you're judging others, you're judging them based on how you are and how you would want somebody else to be. And really what you're doing is you're critiquing yourself, which robs you of your happiness. Man, one of the things that the divine creator, the divine coder of this planet blessed us with is an ability for our brains to naturally make us happy people, but it's a choice. And there's some things that you got to avoid in order to support that choice. And the third thing being, the lack of being hard on yourself. If you are in sales, you own a business, and 1 month you do $10,000 in sales, and the next month you turn around, you do $20,000 in sales, and then the next month you did $5,000, and you had 2 record months in a row, and then you went back down and you're all hard on yourself. You forget the highs because the lows hurt so bad. The rush of the high always goes away, whether it's cocaine, hookers, or the excitement of closing a sale. It always goes away and you always forget. But guess what? It stings like a motherfucker when you get burned. It stings when you fail. It stings in the low spots. And those are the things that are miserable, and they make you remember them the most because that's how our lizard brains are wired inside our human bodies. And being hard on yourself, man, it robs you of your happiness. Because oftentimes we're hard on ourselves because we're comparing ourselves to others or because we're judging others. And we're being hard on ourselves. It's a reflection. Now, it's one thing to motivate yourself. You can do better. You got this. You missed your goal, but you're better than that. Versus you're fucking up, man. You're not who you say you're supposed to be. Words are important. You can't say those words to yourself, not in your inner dialogue and not in your outer dialogue. And being hard on yourself is only hindering your performance because you need to lift yourself up. That inner dialogue needs to be nothing but motivation. That inner dialogue needs to be nothing but inspiration for you to get out there and make moves. You got the moves. So being hard on yourself is not going to help you. It's going to only sabotage your happiness. If you're worried about the past, you're depressed. If you're worried about the future, you become anxious. Live in the now and be proud of who you are and focus on what you know needs to be done and remove the emotion from the equation, which brings us to number 4, which is a big one, upper limits. I talk about this a lot. Some people don't even know what the hell it means. Upper limits is when you're leveling up and you get to a level that's uncomfortable and your brain starts limiting the elevation you can go to, your upper limits. You're trying to become better. You're trying to go up. And then you hit this limiting belief or this limiting thought process or this limiting pattern. in your life. And upper limits keep us from being happy. And sometimes upper limits are you're having a great month and you're making $100,000 and you hit this upper limit that causes you to go out and spend it all on a bunch of stupid shit like a $50,000 Rolex and a brand new 10,000 square foot home and a couple of lease vehicles. Doesn't make any sense. The thing is, you didn't need all that stuff. You just hit an upper limit because you weren't comfortable carrying all that money. I know, I've had to push through it. I remember having a conversation with one of my clients last year. And he said, for the first time in my life, I got over 100 grand in my bank account. He said, when I started working with you, I had $500. He said, I've put my first payment to you on a credit card and the second one too. He said, I've long paid off all my debt. But the problem is, for the last month and a half, anytime I get over $100,000, I start spending money on stupid stuff and knock it back down to 95. I just saved up enough money again to have 100 grand in my bank account. And I don't want to blow it anymore. I hit this upper limit, like seeing six figures in my bank account had me extremely uncomfortable. Like seeing six figures, that's money my parents never had, money nobody in my family's ever had before. And seeing it liquid sitting there on top of the equity, on top of the portfolio of stocks I own, on top of the companies that I own and the income and commission that's coming in, I see that. And I hit an upper limit and I go spend it because I'm not comfortable keeping that much. And so I went through something similar to that too. For you, it might not be 100 grand. For you, it might be 10 grand. It might be 20 grand. It might be an upper limit on your income. It might be an upper limit on your savings or your net worth. But you got to bust through those upper limits. And anytime you see yourself get to a level and sink and get to the level again and sink and then get back to the level and sink again, that's your upper limit. And the only way that you're going to be able to push through that upper limit is to do something different, because if not, you'll run the same pattern over and over again. So be wary of your upper limits, which brings us to number 5, ego. This is a big one too. I mean, they're all equally big, but this one's really the biggest damage to your happiness is your ego, because your ego thinks it deserves so much more than it does. Your ego thinks it's so much better than it actually is. Your ego demands more than it's actually worth. And that goes for all of us. And some of us have bigger egos than others. I mean, to sit right here and have a podcast and 1 million people seeing my stuff every week and 250,000 people following me on all these social media sites, ego can get you in trouble really quick. We've seen a lot of famous people melt down over the years, both business people and actors and entertainers. The ego can destroy your happiness, because here's what the ego says. It says there's never enough. You go out, you buy a Maserati, it wants a Ferrari. You go out, you get a Ferrari, it wants a Lamborghini. You go out, you get a Lamborghini, it wants a Bugatti. It's never enough. You have to control your ego. You have to let it know who's in control. This is where that inner dialogue comes into play. Ego have you making some really, really dumb decisions. And egos are delicate. When somebody fucks with an ego, the ego hard, it gets hurt. It does some amygdala type of shit. And what the amygdala is that's that fight or flight mechanism that they put in the lizard brain and just buried right beneath the surface in the back and the front of our brain. And it's the fight or flight mechanism. And the ego's in control of that thing. And if you damage the ego, it goes, bam, bam, do not compute, fight. And it sends signals that fuck the whole body up, man. The ego's there to protect us, but the problem is we don't really need protecting these days unless you live in the freaking ghetto still somewhere, which the listeners to this show aren't that styled for the most part. So, or live in the middle of like the Serengeti where you're going to get attacked by lions or some shit like that. Like ego comes into play with just words, because the amygdala is not being challenged by people shooting at us on a regular basis, or saber-toothed tigers running at us, or dinosaurs trying to clinch us, or whatever the fuck, right? And so the ego starts looking for things to put itself to work. The ego is like an unemployed person. It starts finding shit to keep itself occupied because it can't do the job that it's supposed to do. And so you got to watch out, because the ego is the enemy. It'll get in the way. And so let me recap real quick. So number 1, stop comparing yourself to others. Number 2, stop judging others. Number 3, quit being so hard on yourself. Number 4, be wary and watchful for upper limits. And number 5, don't let the ego get you. Listen, I could go on this list forever, but I try to keep these shows. I mean, this one's actually ran a little bit longer than normal, but the thing is, you deserve to be happy. No matter what you've done in the past, no matter where you are right now, you get a chance to make a decision in your life to give your life to Christ. I'm just kidding. I couldn't not say that. It sounded like such an altar call, right? But wherever you are in your life, you have the power to make the decision to become happy. And I'm telling you, a smile will get you a sale. Happiness breeds confidence. Confidence closes. Closes lead to commissions. Commissions lead to a happy life. It's a fucking cycle. It's a cycle. And I want you to be happy as well. And so listen, one last thing I'm going to ask you is, if you like this episode and this is kind of your speed, you can go over to Amazon and get my book, Fuck Your Excuses. And yeah, they actually did let me put that title on Amazon. I had to use a little asterisk, but it's fucking up there. But look, it's a personal development book like this, and I get real in that book. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart, and I say just some real shit, you know? And if you like this episode, that book's for you. Normally we promote a different book on this show, but if you like this episode, go over to Amazon, get my book, Fuck Your Excuses, and then you can grab the show notes and everything at closerpodcast.com. And thanks for listening. Share this with somebody on social media who needs to hear this. Later.